Hi, it's Chef Michelle with Just Mushrooms, and we're at Root Zero Waste Market looking at some mushrooms today. We're going to talk about how to pick a good one and what not to pick. So we're going to start with our lion's mane, and I'm going to show you two different pieces. So you can see this piece of lion's mane is nice and white. It's very firm, bouncy to the touch. On this side we have one that's beginning to turn yellow. Now this could still be eaten, but by tomorrow I would dehydrate this and then use it in a powdered dish. And so you can see the main differences in color, but also the texture is very different. If I do this, I'm getting a lot more kind of decomposed feeling with this. This is wetter, this is much firmer. Okay. We're now going to look at an oyster mushroom. So this oyster mushroom is probably on the last day that I would eat it. It's starting to have a white mycelial growth here, which is okay. It's still got good gill shape. It's a little beat up, but I would still absolutely eat this. When it starts to look this way, where it's very discolored, very bruised, starting to dry out, and yet way too moist, breaking down where it's getting more and more mycelial growth and is very fragile, this I would no longer eat. This would be compost. When we look at a beach mushroom, we should have a lot of bouncy, fun, jiggly joy to it. And these are very healthy, good shaped beach mushrooms. You will find sometimes that they start to get a little bit of discoloration on the caps, and this will become more and more pronounced as they age. These are all very edible. Okay. So when we look at a little cremini mushroom, we want to see that it's firm to the touch, that it's moist, but that it's not wet. I shouldn't have any liquid when I push on it. It should be firm and pleasant to the touch. None of these mushrooms should smell. Now we're moving on to the shiitake. This is a big, healthy shiitake. So you can see it's a little bit of rough of a look. It's firm, solid. It's got nice, tight gills. This means that it's going to have a very delicate flavor. We love the flavor of shiitakes. This is a good, healthy shiitake. This is what one that's not at its prime starts to look like. It starts to get red and will eventually get pink. The cap is not as firm or as bouncy. This one is still appropriate for soups or stocks. When it starts to look like this, where it's very red and pink and moist and starting to break easily and super wet, this is no longer edible. When we get over here to a Portobello mushroom, we want to see, again, this firmness. We want to see the very tight gills underneath. We want to see a nice firm stalk. We give it the little smell test. There should be no fishy smell. There's only a few mushrooms like the comb's tooth that are always fishy. Usually that smell is an indication that we're have too much moisture, and so we want a nice mushroom without any smell. So here we have a nice big Portobello that is past its prime. It is starting to decay, and so I'm going to show you underneath how you can tell that even more. You see how it's starting to become black under here, and we have too much moisture. Can you see where the moisture is there as I press against it? This one is starting to decay and it doesn't smell nice anymore. And so this is not prime for eating. You could still use this for a stock.